Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the XENNS Mangird Tea Pro. So as you can see, quite a large box, quite a fancy box. Now I've tried the T1 and the T2 and they're both very good sets. This one looks a bit different I think in the low end, but obviously we'll see what it's like. As you can see from the driver set, it's 6 BAs and 2 dynamic drivers per side. I think it uses dual 2 8mm, so quite curious of this. It's meant to use Knowles and Sony and BAs, so it's meant to be a quality set, and it's priced around $360 I think, so it's not a budget setup. And yeah, anyway, let's just get into it. So let's get in this fancy box. So specs, like I said, 6BA 2 diamond drivers, again all premium drivers. Cable type I don't know what I've got yet, I'll have a look. So impedance 13 ohm, which is low 104 decibels sensitivity. Nothing on the side there, just apart from some company information. Nothing on the back. So it's quite a nice setup with all this blue. Again, it's not in English because it's technically not for, international markets. So I think there's some paperwork in here. Let's have a look at this. XENNS. First, second, final. Not second, but second. Special notes. Okay, there is some English. Products after sale order. Choose any product. It's again common sense. Expound. And that's it. So not much of important, but I guess it's just kind of more like legalities. So let's go one of these. Oh, so okay, quite different, quite heavy, metal. Got this fin here, which some folks may not like. Protective cover, just peel that off. Oops. Awesome looking set. Again, slightly on the heavier side. I'll have a look at that in the other one in a bit, but yeah, quite nice. Obviously 2-pin. You can see it says 2 Tea Pro and right. So there's some tips to fell up there inside the actual case. So these tips I think are similar to before. Similar bore size, but the shapes, they're a little bit more, I think, circular. Obviously I'll try those out in a bit. And the case, again, premium. I like this blue kind of colour they've got. There's a lot going on with this. Literally takes forever to little really soft pouch. And yeah, so 3.5 and I think 4.4. So yeah, obviously I'll try this cable in a bit. So yeah, a lot to go through. Long intro. Again, not cheap, but you get an awful lot of stuff for your money. And yeah, so I'll see you in the next clip. So welcome to my review section of the XENNS Mangird Tea Pro. And anyway, this is what it looks like with the cable. So like you saw in the previous clip, 3.5. As you can see, and the 4.4 was also in there. All you do is you screw, this bit comes off as you can see, and you just take it off, screw it on to keep it secure, like that. Very simple. So that's it. I've tried these balanced, and to be honest, these are actually quite efficient to power. So unless your gear's only 4.4, I don't think it really matters. So this is the cable. This bit's quite stiff. So hopefully in time it does kind of soften up. There's a chin slider here. It's super loose. Doesn't really make much difference. And obviously this is what they look like attached. So very nice, very kind of different build quality as you can see. They feel very premium as they are. They're about, I think they're around $360. So these are more than the previous one. I think that was the T2, I think $350. I think in that kind of ballpark. So before getting anything, let's talk about just the aesthetics really and comfort and fit. So as you can see, they're on the larger side and there's a little bit of weight. Very comfortable for my kind of use. I had no issue at all with them. You can see Tea Pro. Just take this off so you can have a look. Short nozzle, but it's fine because see how it extends the shape here. I had no issues and I found them very secure. In on them large shells, they are quite comfortable. So that's that really. And obviously build quality to me is top notch really. Obviously there's a vent there as well. And that's it. So pound sensitivity, like I just said, really easy to power. No issue at all. Again, they don't really need balanced in my opinion. Balance if you got harder to drive. Planar IMs are more useful maybe with balanced cables, but because these are easy, 3.5 is obviously sufficient really. So timbre on this set. Now it uses I think Knowles and Sonian balanced armatures, I think from memory. Obviously you can check it in the description. So it uses more premium expensive ones. So the timbre, considering the DDs for more for the low end, which we'll talk about in a bit, I still was quite happy with it. It sounds really natural, but it's not perfect as you can imagine, but it still has a fairly natural tonality about it. Now a lot of folks probably might not even notice the difference, but obviously I've tried quite a few, but the actual timbre tonality is actually pretty good really. Instrument separation again I thought was really good as well, as it's should be for the cost. Resolution again all good. Stage imaging all seems good. It's got quite good extension again, as it should do, as we talk about in a bit. So far so good, but they're not perfect, and there's a few changes from the T1 and ultimately the T2 because they're quite similar. They're not the same but similar, but I'll talk about them later on. And anyway, that's what I look like. Really nice. And yeah, I'll put the graph up so you can have a look and obviously my take on the sound. So as you can see, slight imbalance either end, but to be honest, I never noticed it this time. So bass, so they do lack a little bit of mid bass, but they've got the rumble. So any music has really deep, more towards sub bass. They're more like that, but they're not really that mid bass punch, which I prefer. I prefer a little bit more. But then again, the T1 and T2 models was the same, more towards the sub bass region, and this is the same but just has more. As you can see, starts to really elevate from 200 and 150 hertz. So for electronic, these are pretty good, but they sound slightly subdued for what I like. But my preference is a little bit more mid bass and a little bit of bleed into the mids, but that's my preference. But yeah, the DD, the View seems absolutely rock solid for performance. So I'm not quite sure what it is. Obviously, it's in the description what kind of DD they've used, but I think it's really good one. But it doesn't have the attack that I like. But that's obviously my pick really. So mid range is fairly smooth really. Now again, compared to the T1 and T2, because people are going to ask me this like differences. The older T models, they had more forward upper mid range, but it was very smooth. This is a bit different, so they was more. I think they might have had better mid range than this set, but we'll talk about the differences in a bit and the preferences really. But I did like the mid range on this set. Very clean really, maybe a touch too clean, but it is what it is. Vocals on this set seem good, actually really good. I don't like shouty treble, shouty vocals. It just sounds aggressive and harsh. But the mids on this set are pretty good. But the mid T1, T2 may have slightly better mids, really. So treble on this set. So where it differs to the older ones is it has more of it. So tuning wise, I found this more aggressive in the low end and in the treble, basically. I wouldn't say more U-shaped, but more that kind of idea for the sound signature. There's an imbalance there. Again, I didn't really notice it, and I measured these multiple times. And yes, the microphone records mono, so it shouldn't make a difference. They're not stereo mics, it's a mono mic. But anyway, because some people would have asked me that. So treble is quite detailed. Again, what I don't like, it has more treble than before. I really didn't think it didn't need it. So to be picky, see like from nearly 2,500 K, 2.5 K-ish, a little bit of elevation up to maybe like the 4 5K. I don't think it really needed any of that. There's no sibilance or nothing like that. But then again, it also depends on your music volume. No sibilance either, and good extension. Now the one thing this is different is, I think the T1, T2 have like a dip for like 5K, where you can sometimes lack detail. This doesn't have that. These are more overall a more detailed set. So again, Pro version should have just been more aggressive version in my eyes. But it's not bad because they've used quality drivers. It does not sound harsh at all. It's just a very detailed set. Quite a fun set in a way because of that sub bass boost. But anyway, treble on this set is actually quite good, as you can see. Again, don't rely on these graphs past 10. But you can see they do have extension. It's fairly good matching really. But yeah, good detailed set. I do prefer these over the one T1 and T2 because there's just a bit more going on in the music. But the other two are a bit more mid forward, smoother listening kind of experience. But anyway, yeah, it's a treble. I like it. It's a good set. Slightly more than I prefer, but that's me being picky. It's not a shouty set. It's just a little bit more than last time, basically. And yeah, so conclusions. What do I think? So I forgot the price of the T1. I think the T2 was about $350. I think it's got something like that, and this is obviously $360, so it's really close. I think there was 4 BAs and 1 dynamic. I think this is 6 BAs, 2 dynamics, so it's slightly, for $10 more, you're getting 2 more drivers per side, so it's value for money is probably roughly the same or might be slightly better. More aggressively tuned than the T1 and T2, if that bothers you. I like the difference. Again, I like for electronic, it makes things sound more alive. The T1 and T2 is probably a bit too smooth for that kind of genre, from my opinion. But yeah, good set. Again, to nitpick really, I prefer a little bit more bleed from the, up into the lower mids, but they get more slam. But it does have good slam considering it's slightly soft there. Mid-range, maybe the T1, T2 is a little bit more preferred. T3, sorry, the T Pro, again, it has a bit more lower treble, a bit more presence region gain. So it sounds more detailed, but it's not shouty or aggressive. So it depends on your genre, but I think this is a little bit more. There's a little bit more going on with this set than the older sets, and I think that's it before I ramble on too much. So yeah, good set. Still a bit pricey though. Obviously $360 is not cheap, but it's got quality drivers, and I do like what they've done, and they have made it different enough compared to the T1 going to the T2. And I think that's it. So if you think I missed anything, please do let me know in the comments, and obviously I'll have a look. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.